Chapter 1. Being Yourself in a Lollipop World. Despite everything that society and our culture challenges us to be, do you have any real idea who you truly are as a person? Is the way that you dress the way that you really feel? Does it identify the true character that you are? Are the ways that you feel truly your own feelings? Or are you caught up in feeling the way that the world wants you to feel? Have you truly identified who you are and what makes you comfortable and happy? There are a great number of people who live day to day, year to year, only to be appealing in the eyes of others. They don't know what it is like to be content with self because they have never taken the time to learn their true self. What is crazy is the fact that they can be so content with appealing to others that what would make them happy within actually makes them feel uncomfortable. This in turn creates a sadness because they aren't comfortable being who they truly want to be. For example, you could be a girl that feels just fine wearing jeans and tennis shoes, but the other girls with more popularity or equal popularity as you wear more dresses and skirts with heels or dress shoes. All of the boys seem to be attracted, all of the other girls seem to be impressed. In your eyes, they even look nice. Now you are faced with a dilemma of either dressing the same and receiving similar attention or dressing how you feel and staying in your own lane. The obvious attention that the other girls are receiving may be what you desire, and that is what you end up seeking. So you dress the same. You don't stop to realize that wearing what makes you comfortable and content will draw its own attention, if it is attention that you are seeking. Although it hasn't been seen yet, it will once you start being yourself and dressing in what makes you comfortable. You will then find yourself concentrating more on your own individual happiness than you do trying to stay in the race and make other people happy. The way that we feel about ourselves and who we are as individuals should be all that we are concerned about. How can you be worried about what everyone else thinks and feels and still get yourself together? We were all created different. We weren't all meant to do the same things. We weren't all meant to be just alike. We were created to be originals and stand out. Otherwise, we might as well all have the same names. We might as well all have the same profession. We might as well all wear the same clothing and have the same ideas. But if that was the case, we wouldn't have so many different and unique designers and businesses to choose from in the first place. We can all see that there are multitudes of services that need to be filled, and we need different individuals to fill them. Everyone doesn't have the skill or patience to do all of these things. Just because you work in fast food now doesn't mean that you can or will want to be a master chef later. We need chefs, and we need fast food workers equally. Everyone isn't meant to do the same things no matter how closely related they are. We are able to have several different skills, but not all of the skills known to man. If you set two friends side by side and had each list their skills, likes, and desires, you would see very little, if any, similarities at all. Too much is being thrown at us for profits all of a sudden nowadays, which is causing us to live in a bubble. And although our economy is flooded with variations, once one makes a certain product or way of thinking trendy, the rest of the culture that they are influencing tends to want to follow suit. There are so many ways to be you and be cool, but different from the rest. Why is it so hard to be who you truly are? If you were to deeply examine what you like to do, would you do it? If you were to give deep thought to who you would like to become, would you actually pursue it? Would you be so caught up in what people think about you or what you are doing that you would hide your strengths and desires to become more appealing in their eyes? To be sucker free is to overlook all of the influences that are preventing you from being who you are. We look up to music icons and celebrities so much that we don't even realize that each one of these artists have their own separate fan bases. They each have a different audience to entertain. It's not the same. So why are we all trying to adopt the same audiences and followers? Get your own set of fans. Nowadays, just about everybody is a star with the same audiences and spectators. It can be defined as a mass quantity of lollipops that think they are famous and standing out, but they really look the absolute same as the ones they're trying to impress. They aren't originals at anything. They are just racing to see who can swell up a new trend, a product, or a catchy phrase that they have copied from some celebrity who is laughing all the way to the bank. These people aren't even smart enough to be originals. They have been biting and jacking looks and trends practically all of their lives. The bandwagon is sickening to me, but I see why it is necessary. The problem with it is that negativity is attractive to a lot of people, So the bulk of people on this bandwagon are going to cater to negative thinking and negative ways more than anything if what they are following presents nothing good to society or culture. They will shun anything that is positive and able to expand their minds for the better. But why should anybody stop the bandwagon? The more people that hop on, the more industries that promote substance abuse, sex, alcoholism, violence, entertainment, fashion, and partying their life away will remain rich. Matter of fact, they actually get wealthy off of it. The more people that indulge in these acts, the less college graduates, focused parents, and responsible adults there will be. This way we can still have poverty-stricken communities that have nothing to do but mimic one another and make these industries wealthy. We stay caught up in being broke and trying to look rich. With the way that prices for everything are soaring nowadays, if you are bringing home less than $4,000 a month, then you are borderline poverty-stricken. And lots of people aren't bringing home anywhere close to that a month. But we still find a way to cash out on the latest shoes and clothes, spend money in clubs and bars, and spend like there's no tomorrow like we really have it like that. We'll still find a way to impress the next no matter how it may affect our household or our well-being. The bandwagon is all about faking and pretending that you have it when in all reality you really don't. The Lord knows that the ones profiting off of you don't want you to see it this way either. They don't want you to notice that when you hold up the Hennessy bottles and rock the newest True Religion, Gucci, and Louis in your social media pictures that you are giving them free promotion and advertising. They don't want you to know that when you are mimicking the rappers that you are promoting what they are only sometimes getting paid to promote. And you are doing it all for free. You get nothing for it. You don't get a free bottle, free outfit, or nothing. You just get to raise their stocks as you spend outrageous amounts of money to line their pockets and expand their businesses. It's hard to withstand lollipops around that talk alike and say everything that they see trending on social media that has spun some popularity. I believe that every single person in the world has originality, but most are used to just simply following the followers. They don't know what to think about themselves. If you ask them what their skills and or talents are, they'll probably say, I don't know. They find it hard to know what their passions are. Some have been on this earth for 25 plus years and still don't know what it is that they like to do. But what they do know is what other people do that interests them and has their full attention. They do know how to pay attention to the steps that other people take. They follow others well. You have people that keep their heads buried in their phones, watching every status that gets posted to social media. They study every look and change that is going on in the entertainment world. People are so influenced by others that are not clearly doing anything beneficial, that they base their day and night or their life in general around what this person or these people are doing. They want to do what they do. They want to be where they are in life. It is absolutely incredible how many people are developing this sickness. How does a follower raise independent children? How does a follower even focus on raising a family correctly to begin with? How do you live with your decisions when most of them are based off of what another person may think or does? Me personally, I make it my business to go the opposite direction of the bandwagon. I want to be an original. I don't need everyone so focused on me and trying to do what I do either. I'm not trying to create a bandwagon of followers. This will only take away from my originality. I just want my people to respect me for my works and respect me for who I am. The bandwagon wants temporary satisfaction. These lollipops that have boarded want temporary fame. They claim to be about business, but they are far from being about business or money. Real money makers and business people don't have time to be in everyone else's business. If they are going to be on a social networking platform, they are more than likely fishing around for business-related purposes, much more than recreationally nosing around looking for something to do in today's person to be. What is it about you that really makes you stand out from the rest? Can you figure out anything about yourself that just anybody you come in contact with can't or won't do? See, everyone won't just take their weekly $350 paycheck and buy one or two of the latest outfits, but they can if they wanted to. Everyone doesn't have a shoe obsession. It doesn't mean that they can't buy a new pair every week. Everyone doesn't have a desire to make payments on a newer car or drive with the biggest rims. It doesn't mean that they aren't able to do so. You can see the ones who really aren't able. You can see the ones that just sit back and fantasize. Does any of that define who you truly are, though? I guess most would think that the lollipop ride in the biggest rims has the most money. But what if they spent all of their money trying to look like they have all the money? Would you even know? You most likely wouldn't. We get so caught up in what looks like more than what it really is. What defines you, though? What makes you stand out amongst the rest? I've had the advantage of standing out numerous ways. This is one of the things I live for. I dare to be different. If you think you are cool, I want to be appearing ice cold. If you think you are the man, I carry myself like a giant. I dare to be anything but less. You can always put me in the crowd with who you consider to be the best, and I will even give that person reasons to honor me or envy me. Standing out is what drives my passions, my ego, and my determination. Never could I want to be like another. I am too busy loving being like myself. I accept my every downfall and my every flaw. I can feel the reasons for the pain and the happiness because I am in tune with who I truly am and what makes me truly special. No one ever has to worry about hearing the same or getting the same results they receive from others out of me. There could only be very little comparison. In my eyes, no one does it like me. Looking at my strut, no one could walk like me. I am one of a kind, a truly unique person. On more than several occasions, maybe even every occasion, every woman that I have ever dealt with intimately has confessed to me that she has never had anyone like me. They have never had anyone who thinks like me. They have never been with anyone who is passionate about the things that I am passionate about. I am a real life doer. What I say I'm going to do, I do it. I don't worry about time or influence. I do what I say that I will do. I love myself for this. We have to stand out from the rest. These women that made these statements only realized that they were dealing with bandwagon lollipops once they were able to understand the guy who remained sucker free. I was the one that didn't cater to a slew of friends and hang out in the streets all night every night. I was the one who had clear goals and dedication, determination, and discipline to knock them out. At one point, they thought those lollipops were what they wanted until they seen what a real stand-up and stand-out guy was. Standing out was the only way to show them the difference. You have to make people feel like you are a blessing to be around. They will embrace your thoughts and your ideas and your perception on life much more. They will listen to your mind more than they will pay attention to your car and or your outfits. Standing out isn't about racing. You aren't in a hurry to do anything. The ways that you stand out aren't even to be mimicked. It's to be admired. It's a blessing. Imagine how much different this world would be if you could see something admirable in everybody you cross paths with. Nowadays, you don't see much except what you've already seen earlier. They want to be so much alike now that it's nearly impossible to tell what is special about an individual unless you really get to know them. I've dealt with a person for years and still don't know what makes them stand out. They can easily tell you what makes me stand out, though. I can be a blessing to everyone that I encounter, but are they a blessing to me? Or are they just a flock of sheep? It's difficult when you feel like you can give a person the world, but what would you receive in return? Sometimes it's not all about personal gain, especially when you are being a blessing. But everyone doesn't have your best interest in mind from the jump. They are secretly out for self, whether they want to realize it or not. People that don't have anything to contribute don't need to be anywhere in your circumference. You can bless them, but you need to move on ASAP. We have a nation full of young men now that as soon as they finish high school, they say they want to be rappers. Their one-track minds have convinced them that this is what they want and will spend their lives doing. They don't pursue anything else. They just rap their heads off for the next 10 plus years. This is one of the dumbest things our youth could think. We need garbage men, chefs, lawyers, doctors, judges, politicians, and businessmen way before we need more rappers. If every youth became a successful rapper, who's going to fill these real-life positions that we really need? We need more leaders, not more rappers. This rapper kid is just another part of the bandwagon. Now everybody thinks that they can rap. Not only that, they aren't talking about anything new or special, but thinks everybody needs to hear them repeated specifically. Nothing could be further from the truth. There are millions of young striving rappers on this planet that think they will have a successful career in music, but there is only roughly about several thousand on the whole planet who is actually doing it. And truthfully, that is all we need at the time. Look at those numbers though. The average person has less than 10 favorites that they listen to regularly, Only a couple hundred are actually big time and making money. Less than that has gotten rich from it. There's an extremely high chance that you don't stand a chance from it. I look at these so-called striving artists and wonder if they even look in the mirror and see a superstar. They don't even have the look most of the time, let alone the patience and determination that it takes. It takes way more than knowing how to rap. That's the easy part. That's why everybody does it. Now I'm not the one to downplay anyone's dreams, but a rapper that isn't contributing anything to the world or is dumbing down our society and our culture even more is the least of the contributions we should be striving to make. We have an obligation to build, not break. We can't be strengthened in our own by weakening others. We have to either join or create avenues that will benefit all of us. If you want to be rich or wealthy, this is a way to do that. Being a rapper, you can't see in your present mind what that particular future will hold for you. It's unpredictable and it comes with a complicated lifestyle. It's just glorified as all glitz and glamour because it's entertainment and the world feeds into it. But what I've learned is that you should focus on doing things that you can already see clearly in your mind. If you have an invention, you should already be able to visualize it in your mind, designed and functioning properly. That is a good idea. Just like if you have a song, you should already be able to hear it in your mind before it is even created. That is a good song. Contribute what would help us all. That way, you get the proper recognition for your works, since it is something that we all need. When you do things for your own personal gain, only you wind up being the only one truly satisfied, and that's not satisfying at all. It's a difference between contributing a necessity and contributing a talent. You can contribute both, and both can be appreciated, but the necessity is what will prevail in your eyes and the eyes of the world. And although there can be many people who are contributing to the same cause, the way that you stand out will make the difference. No matter what, there will always be people around moping, only there for the money or having shallow intentions, but you could be the influence that they need. This is why it's important to be yourself. If you understand what your purpose is and what you contribute to the world, then you eliminate yourself from the bandwagon. You can't be easily taken over by the thoughts and actions of others. You understand that they have a mission and you do too. What they do and say doesn't affect you to the point that it takes away from the way that you think and react. You understand differences in people. You understand why we need certain ones to possess certain skills and certain passions to fulfill many areas that make all of our lives better. This is why we all live different lifestyles in order to cater to what we are here to do. Your impact is what will mean the most. You can face all the same challenges, but whoever has the best solution makes the difference. You don't have to worry about who's watching or hear who's talking, but you can believe that both are occurring. This isn't always a bad thing. When you are an influential person, then people will watch and talk. If they aren't watching or talking, then you probably aren't doing something right. I pay close attention to the influence that I have on those around me and to strangers. As described, the world around you is always paying attention. This is especially if you are one of the ones who have your own style, your own lingo, and your own ways. Someone is always watching. Someone always wants to be like you. Someone always wants to do what you do and talk how you talk. You don't really know what they are watching though. You don't really know what their motives are. All that you can do is watch your steps and be the best that you can be. When you are an influential person, you fall into the category of a role model. This is whether you want to be one or not. There are small kids and adults, either the same age or younger, that are picking up on what you dish out. You can see it in their eyes as they stare you down. They are looking for some type of direction or some type of way that they haven't been exposed to before by anyone else. Don't confuse these people with bandwagon riders. They simply see a better way and know that it's in their best interest to follow suit. Everyone hasn't had positive influences in their lives, and they can quickly and easily tell the difference between what they've been taught to think and do compared to what you think and do differently. This is where your influence comes in and changes a life or several. There are times when the bandwagon is good. If what people are following behind promotes positivity, healthy change, and it is coming from a strong-minded individual or group that actually cares about the well-being of those feeding into it, that couldn't be a bad thing at all. As mentioned, Everyone hasn't had the opportunity to receive what you can give. It is a blessing for them to be in the presence of it and accept it. There is nothing ever going to be wrong with changing lives for the better. It is a huge contribution and a very special gift to have that power to do such a thing. The only way that your influence can rub off the right way on people is if it is truly genuine and they could tell that this is you being yourself. I don't recall ever being a follower. I do recall things that others have glamorized, and I have seen the effects that certain acts have on others and either tried it or was tempted to try it. I was always the one to analyze before I tried anything, though. It wasn't ever as easy as you presenting it to me. I see you do it and then it's my turn to do it next. I was never that weak. I really only did what I wanted to do. But I have seen numerous peers do something just because they've seen me do it. I have been known to make a lot of negative and or harmful things look cool to do. I've watched others hurt themselves off of some of my influences. Women want to be around you so bad that they don't even want to go to work and they eventually lose their jobs. They neglect their kids just to lay up under you longer. Men don't even try to work because you've made your hustle look more appealing to them. Kids focus on you all day instead of their schoolwork. Being the ringleader, I was able to watch others lose themselves doing what they see me do more than I've ever lost myself doing what I wanted to do. I somewhat knew what I was getting myself into, and they had no idea what they were doing. It's sad when you actually pay attention to how many people you are currently influencing and realize the negative impact that you have on others' lives. When you have a positive impact on those around you, it shows and it makes you happy. Too often, though, people watch and pick up from us, but they don't give any credit. But as long as you can see the change and recognize that the change wasn't there before you encouraged it, you can walk away with the blessing. You will get the blessing. I can't count how many people that I have positively impacted over the years that have decided to make the change to become a better, more inspirational person. People tell me all of the time after I have given them encouragement and words of wisdom how much it has impacted their way of thinking. I could even be telling them what could be common sense to me, but they still would disclose that they have never heard it perceived that way. They appreciate a positive talk. They are tired of all of the negative influences that surround them every day. Being a positive and inspirational person, I never really stop to think about, nor do I ever pay attention to all of the negative influences around me. I am caught up in being the same positive, influential person to even the most negative influence around me. I don't care how they perceive me or what I'm saying. I am who I am. I do believe this is why I keep encountering negative and broken, lost and misguided people in my life. I welcome them. I want my light to shine on them. I am in touch with who I am. I'm not going to change for anyone because of how they think or what they do or how they talk. If they've crossed paths with me, they'll see that I don't encourage negativity and I speak very positively about life, well-being, and people's futures. I tell it like it is, very boldly and to the point. I don't sugarcoat, and if I don't know, I don't open my mouth. The way that I look and the way that I sound automatically would make the next man look at me and think that I react and think just like him. But nah, I just come from a similar background and a similar place as them most of the time. The next man automatically assumes that because I am good friends or an associate of the thug, he knows that I'm caught up in the same or similar lifestyle. They actually think that because of the way that I move around that I'm the same. They have no idea that I serve a specific purpose in every person's life that I make an appearance in. Either they think I'm a thug or a straight up square, and I can tell what they think as soon as we meet. I really enjoy my element of surprise. I often wonder to myself, who could be as unpredictable as me? Not only am I unpredictable to others, I pay attention to their reactions as they try to figure me out and realize they can't. New encounters have no idea about my past. All they see is what they think they see or hear. If they think they see or hear a thug, I show them a man. When they think that I know nothing about how they feel or see things as a thug would, I can bring the thug's mentality out. Naturally, I only display the man to everybody. It's just that sometimes you have to let a person know that you have been there, overcame it, but overall you know what you're talking about. People get so wrapped up into what they see now that they don't think about where you've been before. Those experiences and realities live deep within a person in order to reshape them and also be a blessing to others that are going down the same roads. The difference between me and most is that I'm not ashamed of who I was or who I've become. I embrace my new self. There are people who still see me as being the same as they've known me before, but nothing could be further from the truth. The way that I am now, the way that I think now, the game that I give now, and the accomplishments that I have now are nowhere near the agenda of the early 20-year-old me. But truthfully, I don't care who is able to recognize the change. They are just lollipops to me. As long as I can see it within myself, that is all that matters. And I will continue to remain sucker free and continue to be who I am, not who anyone else perceives me to be. I love being able to be myself to a hardcore thug who would never befriend a person that is a brighter thinker, or even one that encourages them to do better with their life, one who listens to them and shows them possibilities that no one else would ever take the time to show them, either because they don't know of any or they just have the lowest of expectations for this person. Even if the thug doesn't look as though they will carry out on anything that I'm saying, I can't judge that as long as I see that he is at least listening. The first thing I tell an evil-spirited person is that they need to get away from the lollipops, which are the negative influences. That is not easy to do, but it is first, and it is necessary, and it is definitely not impossible. Even when it comes to women, I speak just the same. I am very bold, and although they're very fragile, but hey, they need to know, and they need to know the right information. I was once the same person that these people were. But what I realize is that none of us are stupid or blind to the facts. We just choose not to pay attention. It's like we are running from our own sin. How could it be sin if I fail to recognize it is what I am doing that could possibly be wrong? We don't want to recognize it. So God will send someone like me into your life to convince you to recognize it. And therefore all of the excuses stop at that point. I have never been one to want to sit around and watch another destroy themselves. I do my best all of the time and anywhere to help pick them up. This goes for friends, enemies, or strangers. I don't discriminate when it comes to being a blessing. This is the difference between me and them. I know the secret. People will hate on the other in fear of what they think one will do before them or better than them, but I don't think like that. I know that your goals and missions aren't my goals and missions. Even if we were doing the same thing, your success wouldn't be the same as mine either way. We don't touch the same people, nor will we get the same money anyway. All that we can do is knock another off his chair and leave the money on the table. You can't have what isn't yours. This is why there really is no reason to hate on the next. Hate is all that the word says it is. It's hate. It is just an empty emotion. If you show hatred, that's all you be doing is showing hatred. It won't make you bigger, better, richer, or stronger. It definitely won't lift you off the sofa to make yourself greater. I learned the secret. That's why I encourage others and inspire others. I can go anywhere. I can hang with thugs or squares. I know about working and street hustling. I've been a gangster and a gentleman. They all embrace me because I've literally done it all. I'm not the dope man that has never had a real job. He hasn't done it all then. I'm not the thug who never learned how to type or navigate through a computer. I'm not the husband who has never juggled multiple women before. So I fantasize about doing so without quite understanding the complications of dealing with all of the different personalities and characteristics that different women have. I've literally done all of that. I don't possess a one-track mind. I may live in hell, but I refuse to make it my home. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do so that I can enjoy heaven. And I strongly believe that despite any of my circumstances and contrary to anyone's beliefs, I am doing what God wants me to do. How many people can look their problems and struggles in the eye and sit back on them and say, that is what God wants me to do? These aren't problems or struggles, really. These are lessons so that I can learn how to do better and go further. They aren't problems. The world always wants to tell you what you are doing is wrong or that you aren't doing this and that the right way. The world tries to weaken you into believing that you are a bad person who just can't get right no matter how hard you try. We are living in hell, and these attacks are designed to keep you feeling low. and thus you will be right back to doing what you do best. You will pay attention to and believe everything that these lollipops say instead of paying attention to what it is that God wants you to do. Doing the things that you clearly see are good for you is what God would expect you to do. We can't be shying away from doing what is on our heart. I pay close attention to what God is telling me to do and why He is putting certain people in my life. I believe that every single encounter has meaning only because I'm not a lollipop that is just around sucking up space or looking to someone for somebody to be. I'm able to be used. God speaks through our hearts because it is the lifeline of our bodies. The body can still live although it is missing any other piece of the body. But if the heart dies, you die. So you should always examine what's in your heart for messages from God. Listen to them and do what He is instructing you to do. My firstborn died from heart disease, and ever since then, He has been actively speaking into my heart. For one, I allowed myself to pay attention to His ways of communication. I stopped thinking that everything that I thought up was my own thinking. I stopped thinking that everything was coming from my own brain. I had to realize that most of it was being spoken into my heart and needed to be acted upon. This is how I became the way that I am today. I started listening and acting. Once I did that, He started showing me my purpose, and I love every bit of it. I didn't start with any shame, and I have no shame now. I am being who I am. And all of this put to shame the hustler, the player, the gangster, and the thug that I portrayed myself to be. All of those labels hit the back burner ASAP. I see who God wanted me to be. I felt Him reshaping me. I saw the old peers disappear. I started to embrace this new me. If you ask me now, it all happened overnight. When you are doing what God expects you to do, the influences of the world are of lesser value to you than a penny in a clothing store. It's amazing because most people get to be in their middle ages and never even understand that concept of life and actually beginning to live. It starts with paying attention to what God is implanting in your heart, digesting what He continues to feed you, hungering for more, and growing naturally. Your brightest ideas are not your ideas at all. They don't come from you. They don't come from these lollipops in the world. They come from God. With that being understood, you may ask yourself, if I am acting out on what God wants me to do, why is my life still hard? You may be wondering why it seems like God makes it so difficult to achieve. You may even wonder if you are given false hopes and you are doing all of this for nothing. There are so many more feelings as well, and I know them all so well. I sometimes wonder were these ideas just my imagination. Then I had to realize that I can easily distinguish what is of God and what is of me. I know the difference and have known the difference since I was a child. I am the one with the burning desire and or skills and talents. God is the one that puts the right people, jobs, and or opportunities in my path to nurture the desires. So if you are able to do something or have been doing it, best believe God made that possible. There are a lot of things that our minds tell us that we want to do, but how much of it actually comes to light? Those that live through God don't succeed at anything that we attempt to do on our own. We only succeed at what He wants us to do. This doesn't mean that there won't be obstacles and battles in the way. We need all of these obstacles and battles for learning purposes and to guide us back to the right track. It's easy to stare off over time, and it is a blessing when God throws roadblocks and caution signs in the way. It's His way of helping us. Problems aren't really problems. Once you've been doing something for some time, you can get caught up into thinking that now you can do things your way. You can lose sight of the direction that God wants you to go and the steps He wants you to take. Anything that you are given that is challenging is not supposed to be easy. God gives His hardest battles to His strongest soldiers. It's not easy to be sympathetic to every issue that people present to you and to have all the answers to their problems. It's not easy to have to do what is best for you despite all of the negativity around you. It's not easy to keep a smile on your face when you are hurting. When people see that you are strong, they don't treat you like you're weak. They will come at you hard. It's not easy knowing there is no one around that can help you when you are down. It's not easy when everyone's lives are so simply led and yours is complicated to the point where you would need to give a training course just for someone to even comprehend what it is that you do or are about. You have to be able to trust that God will carry you through. Truth is, He can't give your position to just anybody. Yeah, they know who he is, but they don't understand the magnitude of his abilities. They have never understood the purpose of his presence in their lives. They have never even heard him speak to them, nor do they know how to listen when he is speaking. They don't even understand how he would even speak to them. His presence remains a mystery to them. It makes me wonder what they even claim to believe in. Are they just claiming God's existence simply because that's what everyone else around them is doing? Or is it just that they were raised to believe he is real? What is it that they actually have faith in? These are the weaker soldiers. God can't give stronger battles to the weak and shaky. This is why they live simple lives. They follow the bandwagon. They kill one another and die off. They don't hold any significant roles in their lives. God can't use these people for anything special like he does to you. It's nearly impossible when they are lazy, unmotivated, or hard of hearing. They appreciate fools and being fools. They don't make changes. They just add to the problems. That's why you should never compare your life with that of a fool. I don't care how much money they have or how good their life appears to be, they will soon crumble like the rest. They can stack fast while you continue to slowly build. They will break fast and you will be adding more onto your structure. The weak aren't given anywhere near the amount of intelligence and insight that you have. You will soon get your answer and realize that you want no parts of their journey. Even a man with a lot of money can still not be a very intelligent man. Once the money goes away, he's not even smart enough to get it back, let alone strong enough to handle the loss. He'll do all sorts of stupid things with hopes of bouncing back. He is a weak fool. You can handle a lot and you can become much greater when you are strong and smart. The weak people that have never been through what you have, they have no idea or desire to set their minds on what you have set your mind toward accomplishing. This is why God gives you the toughest battles. This is why you endure so much more than the average. Thank God for even considering you for the tasks ahead. It says a lot about what he thinks of you. You can even feel yourself standing much higher above all of the lollipops of the world. You feel superior to fools. You feel just as strong as the strongest person there is. You have learned what it means to be yourself, and ultimately you will make yourself happy in the process. People may look into my life and see the struggles that I faced, the pains that I've endured, and the obstacles preventing me from going to the next levels and think that I don't have a reason to be happy. It's totally the opposite for me though. I embrace it all. I know how to find the positive out of a negative situation. I know how to find the good in folks who society refers to as bad. I am happy that I can wake up every day with a goal that still needs to be accomplished and the brain power to get it started on it. I feel like nothing can stop me from being who I'm supposed to be. This makes me happy and excited for my future. I don't even really need encouragement more than I need support. I can already clearly see my visions in real life before they actually surface. I am self-motivated and I encourage myself. I don't need the opinions from others in order to get started on what I should be doing. I am happy enough to not let anyone stop me or make me feel like I am doing something wrong. People look for other people to make them happy. They want someone else to bring out their potential. They want someone to give them something new to do. And for what? Wouldn't you think things would be better if you approached the situation already content with yourself and what you do? No one should have to make you because they shouldn't be able to in the first place. You are your own person with your own abilities. All another person should be able to do is merge their mind with yours to create bigger and better plans. No one needs a carbon copy. In fact, no one is actually content being a carbon copy anyway. Your way isn't my way and vice versa. We can only strengthen each other, but we can't make each other. Being happy with yourself is important because it keeps you from developing unhappy relationships with other people. Have you ever seen someone who just looks miserable all of the time? This person is probably having a hard time figuring out what it is that would make their life happy. He or she probably doesn't know which way to go or what to do. I know that I have a tendency to shut down on people and drift off into space, but I do this periodically as a way to regroup my thoughts and actions. I am listening to the sounds in my heart. After I figured out what I need to, I can pick back up where I left off with a much more open and enlightened mind. I try not to ever be mad or sad. I try to find out what I need to do to continue being happy. We have too much going for ourselves to be sitting around unhappy. If not, there are plenty of things that we could do. We just have to know what it is that would make us happy and move in the direction of that happiness. And once you find your happiness, you never want to give that up. Never let yourself or these lollipops knock you off of your throne. It is too challenging at times to get to where you are content to let naysayers and emotions spin you around. As I mentioned before, we all have plenty of things that we want to do, but we can't do everything. So when you find something that works, then you work it. You only get one life and one legacy. You want to base it on something that makes you proud. I remember starting RapSpire and thinking that it was going to be an overnight success. I remember years passed by and my expectations weren't met. I remember feeling like giving up. What held me together was how I compared it to a baby. It had to be born, it had to be fed, and it would eventually grow over the years. I also knew that even dealing with a baby, that it wasn't going to be easy. I was going to get irritated, I was going to shed tears, but I was going to continue to love and nurture it. I wouldn't give up on my child, nor would I give up on my creation. They are both my babies. This is how you should view whatever it is that is bringing out your full potential. Never give it up. When it comes to your dreams, you are in control of the life or death of it. One of the secrets about a dream that I will reveal is that when one avenue isn't enough, then you create another avenue relating to the original source. One idea may create the spark to light the whole thing on fire. Next thing you know, everything that you do is taking off. God doesn't make any mistakes. He may slow you down or show you that you need to regroup, though. You may be doing something currently that will fail you if he takes you all the way there. He doesn't want to fail you. He wants you to recognize and pick back up so that he can bless you as he initially intended to do. The last thing he wants you to do is to give up what he gave you in the first place. He had other people that he could have given it to, but he chose you. It's like when you hear about someone saying that another person stole their song or their idea. Maybe or maybe not. Were they really going to do what they were supposed to do with it anyway? Or were they just going to let it fade away? The only way that they knew about it being taken anyway is when someone else blew it up already. They were the one that was supposed to blow it up in the first place, since it obviously was meant to be blown up for a reason. But they didn't, so the task was given to another soldier. Don't let this happen to you. It's just like when I was a teenager in the year 2000 and everyone started calling me Soulja Boy. Once I heard the name get blown up by Soulja Boy Tell 'em in 2007, I didn't quit what I was doing with the name. I was now 23 years old and the name Soulja Boy had already served its purpose in my youth. I simply changed my name to a more mature adult moniker, which is how I became Soulja Soulja. It suited me better than being grown and referring to myself as a boy when I had clearly become a man. Some people still referred to me as Soulja as they'd done before, so it was almost like my name never changed in the first place. They still called me Soulja Boy too. It's not about giving up. It's about elevating, enhancing, getting better, and going to that next level. You miss out on all of the opportunities and miss all of the beautiful scenery once you choose not to ride till the wheels fall off.